Now it is time to present our second Achievement Award of the evening. And to introduce our honoree, please welcome very warmly Mr. Jon Rubinstein.
Well, those are some pretty cool products we've seen tonight. Pretty exciting. And thanks, Chuck, for the intro. And thank you all for having me here today. I've been very privileged to have worked with many great innovators over the years. People like Gordon Bell, Nick D'Onofrio, and Jeff Bezos, John Kelly and Wendell Weeks, who have both been here on stage presenting this award, and several that have received the award, like Paul Jacobs, Sir Johnny Ive, and of course, Steve Jobs. So I am very familiar with what an innovator looks like. And let me tell you that my friend Jensen is a great innovator, and it is an honor to present the Edison Award to him. I've known Jensen for almost 40 years. We were just kids when we met. I was a CPU designer at a company called Ardent Computer, which he mentioned earlier. We were building the first CMOS-based graphics personal supercomputer, the Titan. Our mission was to build a high-performance system that would be used for simulation and visualization. We were designing with the latest 10K CMOS gate arrays from LSI Logic. So just to be clear, and so you don't miss it, 10,000 gates, that's 40 to 50,000 transistors. Right, compared to over 200 billion transistors today, following Moore's law. Now, that doesn't mean that it was easy, mind you. It was very hard. And as part of the deal, I requested LSI Logic's very best application engineer. And they were smart enough to assign Jensen to our projects. I think we may have actually taught him about vector processing. About 10 years later, after he had co-founded NVIDIA, we had a long conversation about his graphics processor supporting Apple Macs. If I remember correctly, it was the G4. His GPUs were the very best ones available. And I wanted to have the best graphics for our products. Now, he was skeptical, mind you, as everyone in the late 90s thought Apple was toast. But with a little coercion, he decided to do it, much to the chagrin of his software team. They would now have to support two platforms, Windows and Mac OS. And for quite a few years after that, Apple products supported various versions of NVIDIA graphics processors. Perhaps it was through this experience that Jensen learned the importance of software, that it was not just about having the fastest or most capable processors, but just as importantly, or maybe more importantly, having a software ecosystem around them. Owning a platform is what makes a company have staying power. Fast forward to the last few years, and the level of innovation happening around Jensen is extremely impressive, bringing on whole new paradigms, first with scientific and accelerated computing, then with crypto mining, and now with both AI and robotics. All of these built on the NVIDIA platform created over many, many years with a lot of hard work. Now, it takes more than just being innovative to build a world-class company. It takes great leadership and a lot of luck. Jensen has been named one of the world's best CEOs numerous times, and he's clearly lucky given the number of times NVIDIA has had near-death experiences. Being the co-founder and leader gives him the ability to position the company near the opportunity, so there's a quick pivot to take advantage of the changes that occur in the market. To accomplish this is much easier when the company is run in founder mode and the CEO has both the patience and the skills to allocate capital appropriately. Of course, NVIDIA isn't all Jensen. There are around 30,000 people working away to bring great innovative products to the market. Behind every great innovator and leader, there are always teams bringing their visions to life. And in the last 30-plus years, he's been running NVIDIA. He has never let them down. I mean, the guy has a Glassdoor rating of 98%, which is unbelievable. although that might be somewhat related to the stock price over the last 5 years. In addition, due to his innovations and contributions, he's recently been named a Fellow of the Computer History Museum and a member of the National Academy of Engineering. Both are great honors, too. Now, Jensen, don't forget to send some real contributions to them. And while he's a terrific innovator, a great CEO, and a tough businessman, he is also a really nice guy. So Jensen, my friend, it is a great pleasure to present you with the 2025 Edison Achievement Award. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jensen Huang.
Ruby asked if he could take that for me. I was afraid to part with it. First of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Tonight is a very special night, and let me tell you why. First of all, I'm here celebrating this award with three very special people to me. Lori, my wife. I've known Lori since I was 17 years old. You know, building NVIDIA, we didn't do everything right, but I did that one right the first time. I'm also here with unquestionably two of the most achieved and impactful and consequential engineers the world has ever known. They're rarely celebrated because that's kind of the nature of engineers. They love the work that they do, but they're always in the background. Chris Malachowski, Vice President of Engineering. Chris and I and Curtis started the company together. Chris was the first VP of Engineering. And of course, you just heard from Jon Rubinstein. Between the two of them, Ruby built, of course, the Titan supercomputer, but you might have, through his short introduction of himself, realized that he built the iMac, the Mac, the MacBook, the iPod, the iPhone. You know, you might have heard of it. And Chris, as you know, built NVIDIA. NVIDIA and Apple, two of the most technologically achieved company in the history of technology. The two vice presidents of engineering are sitting right there. You know, in a lot of ways, the achievement of your life is indicated by the people that surround you. And if Chris and Curtis and Jon Rubinstein being here is not a reflection of a genuinely successful career, it's hard to imagine one better. Tonight's also special because the award represents invention and innovation. It's something that I would say that at the core of NVIDIA, what we're always about. 30 years ago, I guess 33 years ago, when we first started the company, we had a dream of reinventing the computer to do things that normal computers can't. And we started during the time when the PC revolution was in full full steam. And it was hard to get anybody to pay attention to reinventing a computer that was just recently invented. And so the PC revolution was going in full steam, and here we are talking about a new computing model called accelerated computing. Part of the core of the spirit of invention is in fact exactly that, to believe in something that is counterintuitive, but to believe it so deeply that you're willing to stick with it when nobody else believed it. And so for the next 30 years or so, 25 years or so, almost nobody believed in what we were trying to do. And one of the things that I say now, it's easier now to say, is that it was a good thing that nobody believed in what we were doing, because there were no competition. And that is in fact exactly true. There is wisdom in choosing markets where there are no markets, choosing markets where if there are no markets, you're sure to find no competitors. And if you have the conviction and, of course, the technical ability to go invent that market, then the outcome is quite extraordinary. We invented a new computing model called accelerated computing. And you have to really take a step back and understand the consequence and the impact of the invention. Remember that the computer was really invented the year after my birth. It's over 60 years old. For 60 years after the invention of the IBM System 360, the single most important computer ever created, the modern computing approach has remained the same. The idea of the separation of hardware and software, the idea of an operating system, I/O subsystems, multitasking operating systems, architectural compatibility over generations, the recognition that software investment is important, all of that was really described for the first time 60 years ago, over 60 years ago, at the announcement of the System 360. It remained, all of the words that I just described, remains largely the same in the computers that we use until today. And so the idea that we would reinvent such a thing that has been the foundation of the largest technology industry the world's ever known is both ambitious and bold. But nonetheless, we stuck with it. On first principles, we believed it. And one day, the invention met innovation. We stuck with what we were trying to do for a very long time, and we evangelized it for decades. And we observed one day there was a new way of developing software as a result of the work that we did. Instead of humans coding software that would run on computers, there would be a new type of software that would be created. And the way that you would develop software in the future is using machines to learn it. The discovery of machine learning led to deep learning led to AI that you know today. We observed the importance of that new approach of using machines to write software that no humans could. And as a result of that, enabled what is now known as the AI revolution. We observed, thank you. We observed almost a decade and a half ago, reasoning from first principles of computer science, that deep learning and the algorithms associated with deep learning has a real chance of scaling into an approach to solve many different types of problems. Initially, computer vision. But we generalized the idea and recognized that if we could advance computing and scale up the type of the level of computation, not by Moore's law standards, but by hyper Moore's law standards. In the last 10 years, we've advanced computation and computation scale by nearly 1 million times. Moore's law would have been 100 times. And yet we were able to scale computation by extraordinary levels, leading to some incredible breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, starting with perception, led to generative AI. We are now in the age of reasoning AI. We call it agentic AI. AI that can perceive, understand the world, understand context, reason and plan, use tools, leading to the next phase of artificial intelligence we call physical AI, but basically robotics. The idea that software and computers could now understand almost any language. It can understand, of course, numbers. We know that it can understand words. But to imagine that it can understand images and video, understand physics, the language of biology and chemicals and proteins, and understand DNA, the ability to understand nearly any language and to be able to translate to any other language led us to an enormous number of breakthroughs, and some of them that we saw today. We have not only reinvented computing, we have now reinvented what computers can do. And as a result of that, every single industry is affected. This is now going to be the single largest technology breakthrough that the world's ever known. Every industry will be affected, every single industry will be impacted, every single industry will be revolutionized. Financial services, to healthcare, to retail, to logistics, of course, transportation, manufacturing, the list goes on. Starting from an idea just some 30 years ago, sticking with it, reinventing computing, and now reinventing every industry. And so it is with great humility that I'm accepting this award in the name of Thomas Edison. It's really terrific to, yeah, thank you. It's terrific to be recognized for something that you believe in and recognized for something that you love doing. But mostly, it's terrific to be recognized for an award that is at the core and at the heart of all of the employees that I represent at NVIDIA. So thank you very much.